We're gonna go ahead and get started, everybody. Thank you for your patience. Welcome. This is the Gary Sanitary. What was that? Oh, this is the Gary Sanitary District meeting. Today is Monday, October 21st, 2024. Everyone, please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge of Allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, next we'll have roll call to establish a quorum.
Commissioner William Allen,
Present.
Commissioner Ola Morris, Commissioner Maurice Mabon, Commissioner Darnell Lyles,
Present.
Commissioner Willie Cook,
Present.
Attorney Jewel Harris Jr.,
Present.
Interim Executive Director Brenda Scott Henry,
Present.
Finance Manager Jerome Foster.
Present.
And that's the end of roll call.
With all in attendance, we have a quorum. Next, the certification. Pursuant to Indiana law, section 5-14-1.5-6.1, I certify that prior to the start of today's meeting, there was an executive session held, and there was nothing discussed in that session that was not indicated on the posted notice. That being in compliance with Indiana statutes, there were no final votes held during the executive session. Does any member dissent? Hearing none, we'll move on to minutes. What is the pleasure of the minutes?
Mr. Chair, I make a motion to accept the executive session and regular meeting minutes of October 7, 2024.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Motion's been made and properly second for approval of the minutes. Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Commissioner Cook,
Yes.
Commissioner Lyles,
Yes.
Commissioner Mabon,
Yes.
Commissioner Morris, Commissioner Allen.
Yes.
The vote is 5 ayes, 0 noes.
For 5 ayes and 0 noes, the minutes have been approved. Next, we have new business 2.1. Mr. Foster?
Thank you. I make a motion to approve and ratify GSD payroll earnings for period ending September 23rd, 2024 through October 6th, 2024 in an amount of $267,013.52.
After hearing the overview and recommendation for payroll, what is the pleasure of the board?
Second, Mr. Chair.
Motion's been made and seconded for 2.1. Any discussion?
I just have one question, Mr. Chair. That's for Mr. Foster. Mr. Foster, at the end of the year, when we pay merit pay, which is a part of payroll, is that normally paid into a separate check, or is that in the regular paycheck period?
It's lumped together.
Beg your pardon?
It's lumped together, so you get your payroll check along with your merit pay.
So if we chose to pay that separate, and then the following week, say for example, on the 6th of December and the second week would be the regular payroll period, would that be a challenge to payroll? Because it's an odd week.
Actually, I'm gonna defer that question probably to Kara or payroll, because I don't actually do the actual transaction, so I can't say if it's harder or not. Is that difficult, Kara?
Are the payrolls aligned with the city's payroll?
One more comment on that,
Sure.
if I could. So that also triggers a union requirement. Their merit pay for union employees is, we've negotiated that, so they're kind of specific as to when and how they get it. So I just want to, that's a consideration for Kara as well, is union employees.
Okay.
Yeah.
My reason for asking, because a lot of times employees don't see it, it's commingled with their normal payroll, correct? Okay. So you'll let us know.
Okay. Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, roll call for approval for 2.1.
Commissioner Cook,
Yes.
Commissioner Lyles,
Yes.
Commissioner Mabon,
Yes.
Commissioner Morris, Commissioner Allen.
Yes.
The vote is 5 ayes, 0 noes.
With 5 ayes and 0 noes, payroll has been approved. Next, we have 2.2.
2.2 is a motion to approve task order number 54 to the master service agreement between Gary Sanitary District and American Structure Point for engineering services for the 15th and Clay Pump Street, pump, 15th and Clay Pump Station mechanical screen and combined sewer overflow in an amount not to exceed $282,110. I will ask for Cola to give an overview of this task order.
Yeah, the tax order is to address combined sewer overflow. This is in ERCOT, which is a regulator for 15th and Clay pump station. Would like to start by saying that the 15th and Clay pump stations services Lake Station, Miller, Glen Ryan, and part of Etna. So it's a very critical station. However, we used to have frequent CSO occurring there due to the bar screen that requires 24/7 monitoring, especially during rain event when the manual bar screen gets clogged and then start causing CSO. So what the intent of this project is to install a bar screen to either eliminate or reduce CSO at the regulator, so we can bring more flow into the pump station to increase the capacity of the pump station. And I think I also like to say that the project also includes apart from the installation of the bar screen, mechanical bar screen, we're going to be providing sluice gate and piping and also flow channel on the bypass channel for the pump station. That's all I have.
Thank you, Cola.
So after hearing the recommendation overview for 2.2, what is the pleasure of the board?
Move to pass.
Was there a second?
I second it, Mr. Chair.
Motion's been made and properly second. Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call?
Commissioner Cook,
Yes.
Commissioner Lyles,
Yes.
Commissioner Maybon,
Yes.
Commissioner Morris,
Yes.
Commissioner Allen.
Yes.
The vote is 5 ayes, 0 noes.
With 5 ayes and 0 noes, 2.2 has been approved. Next, we have
Yes.
2.3.
Okay. Make sure.
No, they're not.
Cover for TAF. I thought, yes, he is.
He's nice.
Yeah.
Eric.
Adam is online.
Okay, he's on.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. All right, we have a motion to approve a scope of work addendum in the amount not to exceed $150,000 for professional services contract between the Gary Sanitary District and TAF Law for advising on legal services for the long-term control plan. And this will be the addendum to the existing contract, which is $60,000, will make it that we do not exceed $210,000 between the period of July through December 2024. TAF Law is online to provide to answer any questions that the board may have.
Okay. Thank you. After hearing the overview and recommendation for 2.3, what is the pleasure of the board?
Move for passage.
Was there a second?
The second hand.
Motion's been made and properly seconded. Any discussion for 2.3?
This work doesn't overlap any of the barns in Thornburg, does it? Attorney?
No, it doesn't overlap at all. Taft Law took over for Barnes and Thornburg, and the work that Taft is doing is critical to the compliance that we're trying to make sure is in place with the regulators that we're dealing with. So I do also recommend approval of item 2.3.
Any other questions or comments? Hearing none. Oh,
I would ask that the board get a report on the satellite community's responses to the termination letters. I would also ask that when they come up with the long-term control plan, that we get a summary of that. And that's it.
What termination letters are you speaking of?
If you look at page 1 of their addendum scope of work, number 3, prepare responses to satellite community wastewater treatment termination letters, renegotiate satellite community wastewater treatment agreements. I'd like to get a report on that. Because I think that has other ramifications for what we're trying to do. And then there's a report on the long-term control plan. But you'll notice the satellite community issue is in October, it's in November, and it's in December. So I'd like to know the status of those each time we have a meeting in those months, excluding October.
I'll make sure that I work with Taft and also the executive director to have a report, an ongoing report for our executive sessions and or public meeting.
Actually, I've already asked them to make sure that they provide a monthly report on status of both of those items.
Good.
Good work.
I have a question. I see number 4 speaks to the fact that they would, at times, attend the GSD board meetings. And have we had them?
Yeah, they're always on the, they're on in
on
each
the Zoom.
meeting.
All right. Okay, I got it.
Do you want to flip over to Adam?
Yes, good afternoon.
Yes. Brief the board.
How about, can we see you, Adam?
Erica.
There you go.
Oh, I didn't see Erica over there. Both of you.
Okay,
On track with this.
Afternoon. Hi.
hello.
Righty.
They're just asking that we just, I sent a text to Adam earlier today and just asked that we get a written report so that we can put it in our board package, and not only for that reason, but to also include in our quarterly and annual report to the regulators.
Yes, yes, as Brenda noted, she had asked about that, and we will be getting you guys the monthly reports here going forward.
okay.
Just want to make one thing clear, Attorney. So we send the satellite communities termination letters. Is this because of an expiration date, or we negotiate new terms, or what?
So I think we can give you a comprehensive overview in that first update that you get monthly, but to answer your question, many of those agreements with the satellite communities were expired.
Okay.
Some of them went back to the 80s. Some of them were more recent than that, but they were all older expired agreements or just outdated. So they've been in the process of being reworked
Oh,
for some time now. Yes.
all right. Thank you.
Okay, so for 2.3, a motion was made and seconded. Are there any other comments or questions? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Commissioner Cook,
Yes.
Commissioner Lyles,
Yes.
Commissioner Maybon,
Yes.
Commissioner Morris, Commissioner Allen.
Yes,
The vote is 5 ayes, 0 noes.
with 5 ayes and 0 noes, 2.3 has been approved. Next, we have 2.4.
2.4 is a motion for a sole source purchase of Comline Sanderson for the refurbishment of the belt filter press number 3 and number 4 in an amount not to exceed $365,349. Nicola, I'll ask for an overview, please. And please make sure you mention that how much we'll save by doing this.
Okay. Yeah, The equipment is a critical piece of, it's critical for the process of sludge in the plant. We have to that we intend to refurbish or to rebuild. The cost of rebuilding the two of them, if we have to buy a new one, will be over, to procure and to install will be over $2 million. And then due to supply chain, we are looking into equipment delivery lead time of maybe onward of 9 months to like 12 months. This being a critical piece of equipment for the solid stream. And then we're looking into what the Department of Justice, EPA, and the other asking of us to sustain 142 MGD in the plant. So this equipment seems to be really critical for us to rebuild and to put online. Number 3 is, let me start with number 4. Number 4 has been offline now for so many years. It's inoperable and out of service. Number 3, the parts, most of the parts are already gone. They need to be replaced. So we can have the two equipment back online. And this will really benefit us in increasing the flow through the plant to be able to manage and solids effectively and to improve and sludge the watering process.
Get them repaired. I know that this is just the parts, right? So there's some other maintenance work that has to go along with it, or repair work that has to go along with it, but it would definitely improve the quality of sludge that we're sending back for disposal, which would in turn reduce our disposal costs significantly.
Yeah, because it's the disposal cost is so the cost is so significant because of so much water in the sludge. So the belt filter press is to remove some of this moisture or water from the sludge, such that we will not be incurring so much expenses and hauling the sludge out of the plant.
Thank you.
After hearing the overview and recommendation for 2.4, what is the pleasure of the board?
Move for pass.
2 seconds.
Motion's been made and properly second. Any discussion? Just one question, I guess. So this is just for the material, the labor that's going to be done in-house?
Yeah, the labor will be done in-house.
Thank you. Let's clarify. If there's no other comments or questions, roll call for 2.4.
Commissioner Cook,
Yes.
Commissioner Lyles,
Yes.
Commissioner Maybon.
Yeah.
Commissioner Morris. Commissioner Allen.
Yes.
The vote is 5 ayes, 0 noes.
With 5 ayes and 0 noes, 2.4 has been approved. Next on the agenda brings us to claims. We have 3.1. Mr. Foster?
Thank you. Make a motion to approve and ratify GSD claims number 2447 through 2532 in the amount of $761,757.71.
Okay, what is the pleasure of the board for claim?
Move for pass.
Is there a second?
2 seconds.
Motion's been made and properly second. Any discussion?
Mr. President,
Yes, sir.
if I could, I would request that the motion be amended. I'd like to include on the claims list payment of invoices for Sweeney Electric in an amount not to exceed $199,162.41.
199.
199, 162,
Mhm.
41.
Okay.
And then I would just ask if it's approved that it be included in writing on the next claims list, but shown as approved if in fact the board approves it today.
I'll amend my
Yeah.
motion to approve the claims 2447 through 2532, in addition to the amended amount of Sweeney Electric in the amount of 199, 162.40.
Is there a second for the amendment motion?
I'll second it.
Motion's been made, and seconded. Any discussion? Roll call. Oh,
I just have one thing.
Mhm.
I noticed that professional services and contractual services are two separate entities. And I can see where we're currently using an electric company and it's averaging about $10,000 a month. Can that be considered contractual at some point in the future? We can actually get a contract with them?
I'm sorry, say it one more time. I was answering another
I
question.
was looking at the electrical contract that we currently use, and we're averaging about $10,000 a month.
Over the course of how many months?
Well, over the course of 12 months. Obviously, these are early on, but we've already done about 50,000 with them. So would it be necessary to put a contract in place, although it's contractual services, with metrics that can come by the board?
It seems that way. What I'll do is I'll have a conversation with Cola so I better understand how they're being used. But at first blush, it does seem as though there should be a contract.
Yeah, it could be a time and material contract.
Right.
Did you
Yeah.
get quotes? Don't we get quotes for this?
Yeah, I think that's a different question, how it's procured. I think what he's looking for is just State Board of Accounts compliance, that there's a contract in place. So we'll look at both. No, not necessarily for each time. Yeah.
But even if you
Yeah.
get quotes, I mean, if you get quotes and you still end up doing $500,000 a year.
Right. Yeah, there's two issues. One is contracting, the other one's procurement. We'll look at both and then report back to the board.
Sure.
Yep.
It's ultimately going to end up being a time and material contract.
Okay.
any other comments or questions? Okay, hearing none, roll call for 3.1.
Commissioner Cook,
Yes.
Commissioner Lyles,
Yes.
Commissioner Maybon,
Yes.
Commissioner Morris, Commissioner Allen.
Yes.
The vote is 5 ayes, 0 noes.
With 5 ayes and 0 noes, claims have been approved. Next, we have information updates, plant operations.
Oh, that's gonna be in the new.
Yeah. Yeah, operations and update. I think I would like to start with the long-term control plan. The last board meeting, I informed the board about the Department of Justice and then the regulators wanting the city of Gary and the Gary Sanitary District to commit to satellite storage in the city, at the same time increase the flow through the plant to 180 mgd. I'm working with the Commonwealth, the engineers that working with us for the to produce the long-term control plan. And having said that, we had a meeting with the Department of Justice and the regulators where they were asking us to actually pushing us into finding a location where we have to install or construct this storage facility. We're still looking into it. I think Brenda probably will may want to chime in on this. Brenda working with the city,
Yes.
we can have a location where it could be sited. I do not like it, but I don't think there's anything I can do as of this moment. but we're working with Commonwealth to see how we could still convince the Department of Justice as to what we think it will be of benefit to the city of Gary citizens. So I think,
But ultimately, yeah, we're working with the Department of Redevelopment to identify some locations in the city. We have an appointment to go through an exercise to identify some locations that are near the outfall 13, right?
Mhm.
And so,
It's 20 people in Georgia.
but ultimately, we do have to provide the Department of the regulators some type of commitment to at least identifying location and modeling what a satellite storage unit would be in the city of Gary.
Question, who selected this 25th and Virginia Street?
So actually, there were two locations that were identified in documents that CDM Smith
Yes.
prepared, and it was Ironwood Park and 20.
Ironwood.
Yeah, Ironwood.
Mhm.
Yeah, but there's a pretty decent population of people live there, and aesthetically, this wouldn't look good in that community. And not only that, you put these types of facilities in those communities, what do you think it's going to do for the property value? You know, I think anybody wants these in their backyard.
Yes, we made that case.
Yeah, we also informed DOJ that it's a floodplain zone. And also, it's also wetland and it's a brownfield area.
Wetland and it's a brownfield, you still have to get to it to remove the sediment from the tank and bring it back to process it, correct?
We're
So-
probably going to pump into the tank and pump out of the tank. It's kind of like another pump station I'm going to have out there.
I know, I think I was educated last meeting on that, young lady, but aesthetically, I just feel there's a lot of other places something like that could go. I don't think that should be in the middle of a community that's looking to be redeveloped.
Cola, how many acres do we need for this?
I have not looked into it. I don't know. Andrew, you have an idea? Mhm. Thank you.
It's gonna be pretty hard to find 2 acres in Gary. I would contact the city and see what they have in their inventory.
Mhm.
And NIPSCO even has like a land bank. Maybe you want to contact them too. How are we supposed to get the land? Are we taking it by eminent domain, or
Mhm.
what's the plan for that?
Mr. President?
Yeah.
If I could have Attorney Morgan, if she could address the board, she has some information on this.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. I'm Carla Morgan. I'm Corporation Counsel for the city. So at a previous meeting, when that address came up, I looked it up, as I think some of you have, and to find out that the city does not own that property. That's the old George Washington Carver School property. So the city is willing to work with the board to identify other parcels that might be suitable. And as I understand it, the parcels need to be adjacent to one or the other rivers. Is that correct? So it is going to be difficult to assemble the 2 acres, but we certainly will work with you. And, eminent domain is going to take quite a while to do. So hopefully we can, yes, sir.
Did you say it has to be close to the river?
Well, I asked him.
It has to be
You have to be, yeah,
close to the
you
house.
have to be close to the outfall.
Say that again, Cole?
Have to be close to the outfall out of the regulator.
Does that mean close to the river?
Yep.
Not necessarily the river, but to take water out of the,
Divert the water from going to the,
yeah,
outfall.
yeah,
and
to
then
prevent
store
water
it.
going to the outfall.
Yeah.
So you have to be close to the, either really just take water out of the system, not to get to the regulator. Because once you get to the regulator is only doing, what it's doing is to control the flow going by, going to, coming to us for treatment or going over, to the river. Which once it's over the where it's called, is considered a CSO. So we want to prevent CSO. So this storage is to prevent, according to the modeling, is to prevent CSO occurring at that location. So the intent is to take the water out of the system during wet weather event. So after the rain event has subsided, then we can then pump the water back out here for treatment.
So I'm just here to say perhaps we can have a meeting in the next week or two between redevelopment, maybe the park department too, and other
We already have.
city entities that you already,
I work with, Mike Suggs, and he and I and Chris have, proposed some dates for us to meet
Okay.
and kind of just with the
please
whole team
include me in that
Yep.
meeting if you would. Okay.
can do.
So that's all unless you have questions for me that we want to get a parcel or assemble some parcels that won't take the year plus to do eminent domain on to get it approved for that storage, that remote storage.
Does the city council have a voice in on that?
So not normally. Like, so redevelopment can move properties without going before the city council. We can also do intergovernmental transfers of money between city entities without it needing to go before the city council. So,
Except we can't do it with the GUEA property.
yeah, and that's, we gotta involve the attorney general, sometimes on those, but in the normal course of things, the city council would have to approve the transfer of GUEA properties. So a lot of moving parts, but I think we can get it done. As far as identifying parcels, and then the difficult part is engineering that remote storage, so. Okay.
I just want to note too that the FCA should be finished by the end of the month, and so the affordability will be determined as well. So it's a matter of, and then we'll have that discussion. That report will be completed, and then we'll have that discussion with DOJ. And that will really dictate what we can and cannot do, or what we can afford to do.
Yeah, and what we may have to look for financing off from like IFA or that kind of thing. But the satellite communities had never been included in the FCA, which is kind of astonishing. And now they have to. The consent decree always said that they have to be included, and we have to charge them what it costs for GSD to get in compliance with the long-term control plan. So hopefully things will look much brighter once we get that FCA done.
And at some point, there'll be public comment on this too, correct?
Yes. Mhm. Okay. All right. Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Attorney
Thank you.
Mark.
So I'd like to continue. We also, I think I gave the board a packet of some of the activities that is ongoing with the operations. We are inspecting our sewer system to locate areas of bottlenecks where we're having issues, either causing or creating CSOs during wet events or during rain events. And then as we speak, we're trying to increase some weirs, raise some weirs height. Some of the regulators just so at least minimize or reduce CSOs at those locations. So it's just something that we are progressively looking into how to maximize flow, improve flow throughout the entire sewer system. We should have been doing this long before this time.
That's what I was.
but we're just getting to it now.
Yeah, those are some preventive measures that we could have taken years ago. But we're looking at things a little bit more holistically now, especially now that we have the tech team that is meeting on a regular basis. So we're doing some things ourselves in-house to reduce CSOs. The number of ones that we have every year, every wet weather event.
Your reports, do they incorporate the information we used to get from Eric Tom before his departure?
Yeah, if you have any questions to ask me on that, as of this board meeting, yes, I'll be happy to answer your questions. But going forward, maybe from the next board meeting, Jabez will be fully prepared, to take over from where Eric left off.
So he'll step up and give those reports. Okay, all right.
Yes.
Any other questions or comments for Cole? Thank you.
Okay.
Oh, I want to point out that the newsletter prepared by Rachel Morgan Caesar. Sorry, Rachel. Is in your package for any comments that you may have. If you have any, just make sure you just let me know, and we'll make those edits. But we plan to send this out when? What's your timeline? Okay.
Is it that large, Ms. Morgan Caesar? So our bill envelope is going to be much bigger now?
This folder.
We did increases the postage, so as you do a five-fold, we put it in the bill.
Okay, thank you.
Next, we have American Structure Point.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Jim Zarnick, American Structure Point. Just wanted to give an update on two of our projects. First is 15th and Clay Pump Station Grit Removal System Replacement. We have coordinated with the Indiana Finance Authority, and we have responded to their preliminary engineering report comments. So we're just waiting on their response. So hopefully they'll be satisfied with what we've provided and approve the preliminary engineering report so we can get funding for the project. And then our 30% design, we're targeting to be done by November 22nd. We're coordinating with the equipment suppliers, and our plan set is in progress. The second project is the 27th and Chase Force Main Phase 3 design that we're doing. The plan profile sheets are 70% complete. The front end specs are 90% complete. The tech specs are 40% complete. Likewise, we submitted a response to the Indiana Finance Authority on that project in regard to the preliminary engineering report comments, and we are awaiting a response from them on that. And then regarding our plans, all these are in progress. The maintenance of traffic, structural plans, the general sheets, and the phasing plan, and we're still targeting December 13th for bidding that project. And that's all I have. Happy to answer any questions you might have.
What month are we projecting to hear a response from IFA?
So we just sent the response. Typically, I would say within 30 days. So we sent that response last week.
Okay. Any other comments or questions on the updates from American Structure Point? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Next brings us to discussion. Are there any topics or items that any of the board members would like to discuss at this time? Any hearing none, are there any requests to speak?
Yes, we have one, Darren Lane.
Good afternoon, Commissioners.
Good afternoon.
I'm Darren Lane. I'm the General Manager with UniFirst in Hammond, Indiana. Pleasure to be here this afternoon. Thank you for taking time to listen. On October 7th, a motion was approved to move forward with Cintas as the uniform and floor mat supplier due to a current bid. I'm respectfully requesting the board review the results of that bid for accuracy. Basically, the numbers don't make sense. I've been in this industry for 30 years now, and with the upgrade of the uniform program that was bid, the numbers should actually go up, not down. Your program has been upgraded to a fire retardant high-vis uniform. It's the same uniform that's used at the steel mills. So that is a Cadillac offering in our industry. Top of the line, premium expense. And right now, you're getting that Cadillac for the price of a Ford Pinto. The numbers do not jive. They just don't make sense to me. Cintas was awarded the bid at $479.80 a week for rental for 80 employees with 11 sets of uniforms each, and also floor mat services. The market right now is bearing where UniFirst came in that $1,700 a week range. So you have to ask yourself, how is it possible that another company who UniFirst has the same access to the GPOs, to national pricing that bidders can use for municipalities, how that price can be more than 75% lower than what was bid by two public companies and more than 60% below the next closest bid. Thank you for your time. You have any questions?
We did question that amount. I mean, it was something that almost defied,
It does defy logic.
yeah. And so we did ask that question, whether or not there was any follow-up as to what you're recommending. I don't know if that's been done, but it should, it appears, be looked at again.
Is that fire retardant for every uniform?
That's correct.
So why do we, obviously the board didn't see the RFP.
The maintenance department requested that as their uniform.
Yeah, but the maintenance department, fire retardant?
Yes.
Fire retardant, that's US Steel.
That is Cleveland Cliffs, US Steel. That's correct.
And that's, we don't need fire retardant. We haven't had it all these years. For the last 50 years, we haven't had fire retardant. At the end of the day, we're trying to reduce the cost. Fire retardant would increase the cost.
Mm.
I guess the issue is that we got an all-time low cost even with fire
Fire
retardant
retardant, right.
uniform.
It's unbelievable.
And so, to echo, Mr. Cook, we asked those questions and the gentleman from Centus came and answered.
We didn't ask fire retardant. We didn't know it.
True.
Yeah,
We asked about the cost.
yeah, we didn't know. We didn't know anything about the specs because
Retardant came because of the kind of activities that we do perform in the plant. We weld, and welding requires you to wear PPE that is fire retardant. So that was came into the picture. That was a recommendation from the maintenance department, and that was what we went with. Yeah, we were expecting the cost to be up, slightly, but it came. We were so fortunate that the price came, unbelievably low. But the board that is in pleasure asked various questions from the vendor, from Cintas, and Cintas was able to, I believe, convince the board.
We didn't ask about fire retardant because this is the first time we heard it.
It was in the specifications, and I believe it was provided to
We
you.
don't see the specs. So Cintas didn't tell us that they were providing fire retardant. That's the first we heard of fire retardant.
No, we developed the specifications in-house, We just bid it out to vendors to provide us what we specify.
Thank you. Yeah, we'll take the comments under advisement.
Thank you very much.
Attorney Harris, have you seen the contract yet from Cintas?
I have. So Cintas has a standard contract that they provide all municipalities. We've adjusted their standard agreement to include provisions that we'd like to see in it. So we're just waiting on the final approval of our edits to the contract. So it should be on the next agenda.
Okay.
Mr. Attorney, just back on that subject matter, I think I brought that up to the purchasing manager because I was looking at the cost of mats. And we used to pay, and I don't know how this is now, we're paying $2,000 a week just for mats. So how is it that we're paying for mats and uniform now, and we're paying $425?
Yeah, I'm going to review that with the staff and then report back. I haven't looked at all the numbers myself personally. I've only looked at the actual agreement, the language in the agreement. But I'll look at that, especially based on the comments today, and report back to the board.
All right, thank you.
And I think what the Cintas had pointed out is that they are the state contractor for us. Okay.
Are there any other requests to speak?
No, sir.
Okay, is there a motion for,
Able to mention the opening at Chase or that, whatever that was, that ceremony that was held at Chase Street this morning? The meeting,
Was that,
oh,
that's for the contractor?
I'm recording.
yeah, whatever that was, yeah.
You want to say a few words?
Yes, this particular project was funded by Section 219 grant. This is the 27th and Chase Phase 2 project, which is installing piping from the 27th and Chase all the way to 25th Avenue. So we've completed that section of it. There's going to be a Phase 3. We did have the ribbon cutting today, which Mayor Melton was present, along with Congressman Mervan and the Army Corps of Engineer, who always organize these events. And then they have the ribbon cutting just as a closing ceremony as that they completed Phase 2. So that's what this morning was all about.
All right, thank you. Is there a motion for adjournment?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right, meeting adjourned. Okay, again, today is Monday, October 21st. This is the Gary Stormwater Management District meeting. Request for roll call to establish a quorum.
Director William Allen,
Present.
Director Ola Morris,
Here, present.
Director Maurice Mabon,
President?
Director Darnell Lyles. He's gone. Okay.
Yes.
Director Willie Cook,
Yes.
Attorney Jewel Harris Jr.,
Present.
Interim Executive Director Brenda Scott Henry,
Present.
Finance Manager Jerome Foster.
Present.
And that's the end of roll call.
With all in attendance except for Member Lyles, we still have a quorum. There is no certification since items discussed did not pertain to stormwater. Moving on to minutes. What is the pleasure of the minutes?
Here, I make a motion to accept the executive session regular meeting minutes of October 7, 2024.
Motion's been made and properly second. Any discussion on the minutes? Hearing none, roll call?
Director Cook,
Yes.
Director Mabon,
Yes.
Director Morris,
Yeah.
Director Allen.
Yes.
The vote is 4 ayes, 0 noes.
For 4 ayes and 0 noes, the minutes have been approved. Next, we have new business 2.1. Mr. Foster?
Thank you. I'll make a motion to approve and ratify GSWMD payroll earnings for period ending September 23rd, 2024 through October 6th, 2024, in the amount of $8,328.60.
What is the pleasure of the board for 2.1?
Vote for passage.
A second, Mr. Chair.
Motion's been made and properly second. Any discussion for 2.1? Hearing none. Roll call, please.
Director Cook,
Yes.
Director Maybon,
Yes.
Director Morris,
Yes.
Director Allen.
Yes.
The vote is 4 ayes with 0 noes.
For 4 ayes and 0 noes, payroll has been approved. Next, we have claims. Mr. Foster?
Yes, thank you. I make a motion to approve and ratify GSWMD claims number 155 through 168 in the amount of $50,145.90.
We have a recommendation for approval of claims. Is there a motion?
I had a question, Mr. Chair, because
Yeah.
I noticed we have a lot of appraisals on there. The attorney I'll speak with, I see some of them go all the way back to January. Was it necessary to have 2 appraisals on each one of these properties?
Yes. So these appraisals, the majority of them are court-ordered appraisals, and there's a process that's prescribed by state statute that requires us to get more than one appraisal, and the appraisers are actually appointed by the court. And then ultimately we get an order from the court that requires us to pay their fees, and that's why you're seeing them all on the claims list today.
Okay.
Any other questions? Okay, hearing none. I don't think we ever got a motion. What's the pleasure of the board for 3.1?
So move, Mr. Chair.
Is there a second?
I second it, Mr. Chair.
Motion's been made and properly second. Roll call, please.
Director Cook,
Yes.
Director Maybon,
Yes.
Director Morris,
Yeah.
Director Allen.
Yes.
The vote is 4 ayes, 0 noes.
For 4 ayes and 0 noes, claims have been approved. Next brings us to information updates, MS4 updates.
Yes, board, in your package, you'll see that we held our MS14 meeting on October 16th, where you will see each of the reports for each of the MCMs. But I just want to highlight in that a couple of things. One, we had 4 staff members to complete their NEPID stormwater training and to become compliance and enforcement inspectors. And those persons were Millie Washington, Raynell Bradley, Ben Robinson, and Rachel Morgan Caesar. This training equips staff with some of this information and skill sets to protect our conveyance systems, especially our stormwater conveyance system. This one was just for the MS4 compliances. So just wanted to point out that we have 4 persons in addition with myself and Obadiah Wilson, who has the certification. I also presented at the City of Gary had its first sustainability conference on September 21st, Growing Gary Green, where I was a guest speaker to speak on our climate action plan and our climate resilience plan and how that lines up with work that we're doing. As I've mentioned, may have mentioned before, that the City of Gary is a recipient of, a sub-recipient of a EPA Solar for All grant, in which we will receive $32 million to do community solar and rooftop solar for low-income individuals that are at 80% of the average medium income. And we are anticipating of that being a benefit not only to 2,600 residents in the city of Gary, but perhaps we can bring community solar here to the GSD where residents can subscribe to it, as well as another location in the city of Gary. So we're really excited about that, and I shared some of that information at that presentation. There were over 150 people in attendance. Mayor Melton was there as well, and our health commissioner was there. So that's all I want to share with you on our, in terms of what we've done here. We want to continue to equip staff with the skill set so that we can go out and inventory our entire conveyance system, which is a requirement under our permit, NEPID's permit. And that information will be coming to you soon.
Do you have any comments or questions for Brenda? Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
Next, we have American Structure Point.
Good afternoon, Board. John Tucker, American Structure Point. Quick update for our Lake Street reconstruction project. We had, since last meeting, the first lift of asphalt and curb and gutter have been installed. The next two lifts of asphalt is scheduled for tomorrow, followed by the remaining lighting work up to Forest and concrete work, sidewalks up to the Lagoon Bridge, and then we'll continue moving north. There's not as much work north. We don't have a sidewalk on the east side of the road. Everything kind of becomes a little more streamlined, but their goal is still to have everything done by the end of November. Very tight schedule, but we're still pushing forward. So if there's any questions or comments, I'd be happy to answer. It's tight.
Yeah.
Any questions, any comments?
Well, a comment, I do see what they did at Lake Street and Hemlock, and it moving along swimmingly.
We're hoping to have some asphalt today, but I got pushed today. So we'll get the next two lifts tomorrow and keep moving forward.
All right. Looking nice. Really
Thank
looking nice.
Fingers crossed. Thank you.
And then still under budget.
Yes, we're still trending that way. We're actually, like I said, we're making some improvements to try to help schedule as well. Going further north, we had some larger cuts in the road. We've revised our grades. We're with the contractor, so that'll reduce some of our excavation, which also helps our schedule and budget. So I know with our previous conversation, we'll keep looking as to our northern limits and any other improvements we can do to kind of close that gap as well.
Thank you.
Yes, absolutely.
All right, next we have Robinson Engineering.
Good afternoon, Directors. Ron Smith with Robinson Engineering. Just a couple of brief updates for you. The punch list items for bridge number 243 on Lake Street over the lagoon. Those punch list items have been addressed. We just have to send out the final invoice to the contractor, and that project will be wrapped up. City of Gary Community Crossings paving project. The contractor and the city, we've had a very great relationship with the Gary Stormwater Management District on any of the drainage structure adjustments or piping removal and replacement. We just have one street to complete. That's Massachusetts Street from Ridge Road to 46th Avenue. We have striping left to complete, some landscaping. Once the punch list walkthrough is scheduled, I will let the staff know so you can have your staff out there. Okay. I will address any questions that the directors may have at this point.
Do we have any comments or questions for Robinson Engineering?
You guys are doing a great job on those roads. So,
Thank you very much. I
and
appreciate
we have to
that.
commend Will as well. So
We did a total of about 5.8 miles of paving this year. Thank you.
Thank you. Next brings us to discussion. Any topics, items that any other members would like to discuss?
As for the attorney, we had a bid opening last week. Attorney, do you know what's going on with them?
I don't.
Attorney Harris, the bids that we received came in significantly over budget. So we have scheduled some time to talk to those two contractors to find out, how the bid came in so high. but our budget is, 200% less than what they come over the price. Their cost is 200% over what we,
So maybe after you talk to the contractor, we can also talk about scope and maybe some other things that might help to get where we need to get to. It may not be possible, right?
Yeah.
I don't know that, but
Yeah.
I hear you.
okay.
Yep.
So,
Work's not gonna be done this year at the end of the day.
probably not, especially if we have to rebid, which is kind of looking like we might have to. If it came in over 200% more, but that's going to be some big changes that need to happen. So, okay, thank you for the update. Anything else? Okay, are there any requests to speak?
No, sir.
Is there a motion for adjournment?
I'll move, Mr. Chair.